Hello everyone, I am doing my tribute speech to my grandmother. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. That's by Leanne Womack. This is a song quote from one of my grandmother's favorite songs. It talks about when you strive for something and you get it, don't settle, just keep going. That if you keep going, doors will always open. To never fear the future and to take chances. Sandy Butterworth was a woman who always had that warm, loving smile on her face. She was one of the few that you could say had a heart of gold. She was a loving mother and grandmother who always put her family and others first. And I would like to share with everyone what an influence my grandmother has had on my life, who she was, and how she remained optimistic after she was diagnosed with lung cancer. Have you ever tried to breathe through a small straw? It's hard, right? You have to exude force just trying to get air into your lungs. Lung cancer patients have difficulty breathing like this every day. You get chest pain, attacks of bronchitis or pneumonia. Have you ever been really sick that your body just felt too weak to move? Lung cancer creates these effects on its victims. You lose your appetite, you lose weight, you always feel nauseous and depressed. That's by rehearsed. Those who smoke more than 5 cigarettes per day run an increased risk of developing lung cancer at rates approaching 200 times that of a non-smoker. And that's by Alder R. I actually have my visual right here. It didn't really print out the way I wanted it to, but it says at the top that deaths per year due to lung cancer are up 21,000 and can go up to 30,000 or higher. The middle right here is actually where the cancerous mass can affect your lung, right here at the top. And then the bottom is just the difference between a regular lung and what lung cancer does to your lungs. And my grandmother definitely loved to smoke. At the age of 55, she was taken by surprise and was diagnosed with lung cancer. She actually had a physical a year before her diagnosis, and she noticed a shadow on the x-ray of her lung, but the doctor said it was nothing. And the following year she went back because she had mono, and they sent the test results and found out that she did have cancer developing on her lung where that shadow was. My grandmother was told that she had roughly 2 years to live. Of course, this was a huge blow for both her and her family, but she never let it define who she was. She was a strong-willed woman who always held her head high, and I admired her and how she inspired others with her unfailing faith and kind heart. She never wanted any special treatment for her illness or for people to feel sorry for her. She was a woman who always helped others when she got the chance, who never tried to be better than anybody else. She always felt for those she never even knew when she saw them going through rough times. My grandmother was a woman of compassion, and I looked up to her for that. Not everyone has that special quality, and I'm lucky enough to feel like I have this quality because of her. My grandmother was such a generous and loving person. She held such a dignifying attitude throughout this obstacle and trial of her life, whereas most would just fall down a hole of depression and never dig themselves out of it. She never took one single day for granted, and I never understood until now why at the age of 7 my parents never told me or my older sister that my grandmother was sick. When they finally did years later, it was mostly because my grandmother did not want us to know, and I questioned why we only found out when her time was close to being up. It was because she did not want us to change how we acted around her because she was sick. My sister and I used to run into her room and jump on her bed, begging her to always make us those fluffy sweet pancakes she was so well known for. When she had cancer, we never knew that she was sick. We just assumed that she had a cold and that it made her tired all the time and it made her hair fall out. I mean, we were young, so we didn't really understand. She would still get up every time we asked of her something, and she never complained or got angry. My grandmother was a strong, graceful woman who impacted others with her kind soul. Her persistence never changed in her daily routines because of this cancer, and when she felt like it was kicking her butt at certain points and made her sleepy and run down, she always battled through it. I respect her and look up to her. She helped me realize the person I want to be and the path I want to follow in my life, to choose to go into the medical field mostly from the experience I had watching her struggle through this obstacle. I always used to think growing up that when I became a nurse I could cure people of cancer, of having to endure what she had to have no more pain or suffering even though it's not possible to find a cure yet. But she made me realize that I want to work in the oncology unit of a hospital, and I'm hoping to become a pediatric oncology nurse. She taught me how to think of others first without having to tell me or explain why. She was stubborn, determined woman who never took no for an answer, and she taught me to be assertive and confident. She was a woman who stood behind morals and God. Sandy Butterworth was a woman of grace, and she shined like the morning sun. She was the light in a world that was dark, and she impacted everyone who ever knew her. One day shy of her 39th anniversary of being married to my grandfather, she passed away. But I just want to thank her for inspiring me to pursue the medical field and influencing me to become a strong, courageous, confident, and compassionate woman, just like her.